I am so excited about today's news. I'm so excited
I
right
don't know why
now.
bad news gets you
It's so
excited.
good. So it just justifies everything I believe in the human condition. Okay. Like, Google, they decided to do a little thing, and they did this little thing while you were sleeping, and which, sounds romantic, except that they opted you in to letting Gemini train on your emails and on any attachments you may have in said emails. So if any of you use Gmail to send around manuscripts, drafts, anything like that, Gemini might have just trained on it. So this can affect you even if you don't use Gmail. If your editor, beta readers, anyone else on your publishing team uses Gmail, Gemini could ingest your manuscript and use it to train. Now, Google has stated they're doing this so that they can make a better email service, so they can optimize your inbox, integrate calendars, all kinds of stuff like that. But in order to do that, in order to help you write better emails, they have to read a whole bunch of emails. So they're training on all of this material that is in there. I read a couple of articles. I read one from Yahoo. I read from Forbes. It just in the last 24 hours, people are going, "You did what?"
And here's how you can check. If you go to your Google settings, you go into Gmail, go to your settings, and then do a search on the very first settings page for smart features. You can see that the little checkbox says you have, what's the phrase? I actually captured the phrase because it's such a dark pattern. It says "I agree" is the name of the checkbox, and it says there. Wait, where's this? Oh, I can't find it. It's so sinister. Oh, yeah, here it is. When you turn this setting on, you agree to let Gmail, Chat, and Meet use your content and activity in these products to provide smart features and to personalize your experience. So you never check this box. So
Yeah.
it gaslights you in the very language saying, when you checked this box, you gave us permission. And so we're like, oh, so I'll just uncheck this box. I'll turn off the smart features and I won't allow Gmail to train on my manuscript. Seems easy peasy, right? Not right. Do you know why? Because when you turn off smart features, Gmail disables spell check. It
Yeah.
disables grammar check. It disables all of the features that make Gmail worth using.
So I looked it up in Google first. I want to see what Google would say about Google. And so I typed in there, I was like, hey, tell me about what's going on with Google and the fact that that Gemini can now use Gmail to train itself. And so it came up with this little AI thing, but it was all about users activate this. Once users activate this, they get access to all the smart features and stuff like this. But, if users don't opt in, then this is not something we're. The thing is, we're automatically opted in. You didn't ask me.
And let's say you're a Proton Mail user. You've known that Google doesn't respect privacy for a very long time. You're still not safe, because if you sent your manuscript to your editor or agent or somebody on your beta team and they use Gmail, the attachment is now in their Gmail. That angry email that you were going to send to your boss, but you've left it in drafts while you sleep on it, is being trained. Gemini is using it to
It's
train
in a
their
folder.
model.
It's uploaded in. Okay, look, AIs are data starving. They are ravenous for whatever you give them. So whatever's in a folder on your Gmail, sent or received, like, it's going to ingest it. So now some people are already asking this question. According to what Google says, Google Docs is exempt from this. You have to actually opt into that.
Which
Okay.
is so sneaky. If you email somebody a Word document, Gemini will train on it. But if you email them a link to a Google Drive, they won't train on it.
Supposedly. But
Right
there's
now.
there's explicit
Trust us,
language.
bro.
Exactly. There's explicit language in the TOS, the terms of service right now, that they're not going to train on anything in Google Docs, that your privacy will still apply there. But I mean, when was the last time you read terms of service? Every time you get an update and it's like, hey, we need you to accept the new terms of service. Tack, scroll,
And
check.
the terms of service often give them permission to make changes without your
telling
permission.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically no rights when there's a terms of service. One listener said, better to just use a paid service. If it's free, you are the product. And you're exactly right with this mindset. But here's the frustrating thing. I checked on my paid Google Workspace account, and I was
Yeah.
opted in there too.
Yep.
So they don't just treat the chickens in the chicken coops as chickens, the free customers as chickens. They treat the paid customers as chickens as well. I think the only real solution for this is for there to be enough outcry that Google backs off on this, because they didn't do it to your authors in Europe. So if you're in Europe, it's illegal in Europe to do these kinds of dark
Yeah.
patterns. And we should probably break down what a dark pattern is, because I think a lot of people aren't familiar with dark patterns. There's this saying in Silicon Valley that the devil is in the defaults, and uh, tech companies can manipulate your behavior by controlling the defaults and by understanding user interfaces. So people are afraid to click on buttons like advanced. And so all of the features that they don't want you to activate,
Yeah.
and all of the privacy features, they'll hide in various ways to make it very difficult for you to do it. Like, for instance, this feature, the smart features feature, is hidden in 2 different places on your settings page. And after you change it in one place, it triggers a refresh of your Gmail page that then takes you back to your inbox. So if you're not paying attention, if you don't understand how the dark patterns work, and if you don't go back to your settings and then go back to the other place in settings where smart features are enabled, smart features are still enabled.
Yes.
This is the darkest of dark patterns I've ever seen from any tech company, at least from any major tech company. This is like real player levels of evil in the classic don't be evil sense. So Google has gone from having don't be evil being their tagline to just be evil.
Did anyone ever believe this?
So no, they used to be not evil. And so if you can remember in the 90s, Real Player was this really terrible piece of software. And without your permission, it would install all of this software on your Windows 98 computer and all of the spyware. And it would really slow down your computer. And that was like the main way of making Real Player free. And Google, their corporate culture was very much against that. And that one, so the don't be evil phrase is not talking about like the Christian ethic or some sort of religious definition of evil. It's specifically disrespecting customer consent and like explicit opt-ins as opposed to implicit opt-ins, and not installing things on people's computers that they don't want. So like for a long time, if you were using Chrome, you could set Bing as your default search engine. And that was kind of their classic, see, we're not evil things. Like, yeah, you're using Chrome. You don't have to use Google as your search engine. I mean, sure, it's a default, but if you want to use a different one, you can. But this is evil in the classic Real Player sense of evil.
There was a thing in the Marine Corps called nug sharking. Okay, that's when new female privates would show up to a unit and NCOs would take them under their wing to protect them. Okay, and that's when you learned nothing is ever on your side. Like, you don't trust that. Like, if I ever hear that a company is like, no, we're the safe ones, we're the not evil ones. Yeah, what's happening here? So, a matter of detail here. Some people are asking what specifically counts. It's the European Economic Area is exempt, as well as the UK. So at least those 2 places, they can't opt you in because of data protection. They can't help you.
So you have to check the box yourself. And
Yes.
because you have to check the box yourself, I suspect you didn't see your spell check disabled. Like, claiming that this is somehow powering spell check, a feature we've had on Gmail since 2004, is totally bogus. And it really breaks email. Nobody is going to willingly turn off their spell checker to use email, especially if you're sending professional emails. Everybody needs a spell checker to help them look professional. And so I've never seen something like this in all of my years of being in this business. And if you don't believe me, go to your settings. It's right there in Gmail, the smart features.
So people are asking now, well, what's the best way to fight this? Personally, I don't think you do. Honestly, I'm just like, look, y'all have been accepting terms of service for 15 years now. This ball has been rolling for a long time, and unless they do something actually illegal that they can get sued for, there's no course correction here. What are you going to do? Stop using all of Google?
I think you could put. I think there's ways of doing pressure. What we're doing is part of it, right? The media and the press covering this and embarrassing them and giving them a black name helps. Um, Congressional hearings help. They don't like being dragged in front of those.
But the value of data, particularly in the development of AI, outweighs all of that. It's the value of what they just obtained by opting us all. That's why they didn't ask.
Yeah.
If they asked, they would reduce
Yeah,
the amount of data.
if they get a $10 billion fine, let's say they have this big class action court lawsuit, and there's actually a good chance of this. So if you are not a Google user and you never opted into their terms of service, and you forwarded your manuscript to your agent who is a Google user, your agent doesn't have your permission to share your manuscript with Google, and your agent agreeing to the terms of service doesn't opt you in. And so, not a lawyer Thomas here thinks that there's actually a class action case for all authors who aren't Google users potentially. And so maybe you get your $3,000 from Google and they have to pay $5 billion 10 years from now in some class action case. Jonathan's exactly right that the data that they got is way more valuable than that for training their large language model.
And the thing is, if $10 billion is such a large number, that will satisfy the majority of people who think, oh, Google got punished. No, the value of what they got is $1 trillion, potentially, because of what they can develop from it, especially if they can make Gemini compete and make it one of the top 3 choices.
This also makes me wonder why I bother setting the privacy settings for the patron toolbox so high. So the privacy settings are so high that I can't see what people post, and I can't even see when the tools stop working or start working weird, right? I have privacy cranked to 11. And meanwhile, Google is over here just scooping up every single piece of data they can find. And
because once you get big enough, I mean, when you're driving on the highway, right? The biggest truck wins. Right? I'm merging now. Ah! I gotta move, right? Google is the big truck. Google's just gonna move now, and what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? I mean, most of us rely on Gmail. Like, and it's the history, right?
yeah,
Like, these are communications threads that I've had with clients, that I've had with all kinds of things that I need to have.
I've been on Gmail for 21 years. I got on back when it was invite only at the very beginning of Gmail. CD says Google is making spelling popular again by turning off the spell checker. The thing is,
No.
I will say,
No.
we just bought my 7-year-old a dictionary, and and she's like, "Oh, I can use this to spell words." It's like a kid's dictionary with lots of pictures and stuff. But we need that. You can't go from 25 years of using a spell check to cover you.
People will cut off their legs to use a crutch. Okay, like, you've seen Wall-E, right? People got fat in their floating chairs, and there was no movement back because it was convenient and it was easy, and that's the way human nature works.
Now, I will say, if Google gets enough pushback, they may back off on this, and we will cover it. So this is a breaking story. I think we're the first news channel in the author space to cover this. In the AI tech bro world, they've been losing their minds. And as the resident AI tech bro in the author space, I thought I would share this with authors, help spread the word, help share this video. Do like and subscribe to our channel to get continual updates. And I think that if Google gets away with this, you can expect Gemini to be the absolute best novel writing AI come 2026. So just because they've ingested all of the data doesn't mean that they've run it through inference yet, doesn't mean that they've trained on it. It takes a long time to train on AI data. But even so, Gemini 3.0 just came out and it's topping almost all of the benchmarks. So last week we announced that GPT 5.1 was the number 1 model. GPT 5.1 was number 1 for 6 whole days. And now it's been pushed off by either Gemini 3.0 or Grok 4.1. So both Grok and Gemini released new models. They're both beating ChatGPT in most of the benchmarks. Gemini's winning in more than Grok 4.1 is. Grok 4.1 is better at like agentic tool use. We'll go through these pros and cons. So Google took advantage of the fact that they have it like permission through the terms of service to gather in basically all of the world's data. And they have already been gathering a lot of data for their Gemini 3. In fact, I think the number of parameters for Gemini 3 is several trillion more parameters than any of the other models. I forget. I want to say it's like a 6 trillion parameter model. It's just huge. Y'all can fact check me on that. Somebody
That
look up
sounds like
how many
ex-girlfriends I've had. That's a lot of parameters.
somebody look up how many trillion parameters Gemini 3.0 has, and we'll throw it up on screen. So strengths of Gemini 3.0, it's really good at multimodal reasoning. So it's good at understanding video, audio, images, and code all together and going back and forth. So it can see in a way where it understands what it's looking at. It also is deeply integrated with Google Docs and with Gmail. So if you feed all of your information over to Google, it can like brief you on the meeting that you have coming up. It sees it on your calendar, looks at who's in the meeting, pulls up all your emails with the people in the email in the meeting, and it will give you a briefing, like a pre-meeting briefing. Is here's what you need. So Zano says 1 trillion parameters, but which version of Gemini is 1 trillion parameters? Because that sounds like Gemini 2.5. I could be wrong on this. So it's good at agentic coding and tool use, although from what I've seen in the benchmarks, Grok 3.1 fast is actually better at tool use. So some downsides, it's very expensive. If you're paying for tokens, Gemini 3.0 is like the most expensive model. And we're starting to see, this might be the beginnings of the AI bubble kind of manifesting themselves. We're starting to see some of the models getting more expensive for people who have to pay for them for the tokens. And I'm definitely seeing that. In fact, I've had to pull way back from using the Gemini models, particularly Gemini Pro, just because how expensive they are. They're just crushingly expensive compared to, say, Grok 4 Fast, which is
should get cheaper now that all the data's been taken.
no, it actually makes it more expensive because running all that inference to chew on all that data and process it into a large language model takes a lot of work. So, and it's supposed to be really good at creative and emotionally nuanced writing. Also, Grok 4.1 is better at emotionally nuanced writing. So, Grok has historically been like the autistic model, which is kind of nerdy, very smart, very good at research, but kind of awkward with wording. I have noticed a huge improvement in the new version of Grok. And Gemini 3 is also improving itself. Also, ChatGPT 5.1 will not use the M- if you ask it, supposedly. So that's nice. So a couple quick things in Grok 4.1. It's more conversational. It's more human sounding. It's less likely to hallucinate. So it's 3 times reduction of hallucinations compared to Grok 4. And long term, I think Grok is going to have the lowest hallucination rate because that's their real focus as a company, XAI, and they're like maximally truth seeking. So they're heading towards a hallucination free mode, and it's very, very fast. Some of the drawbacks is that its multimodal features aren't very good. It's not very good at video, and its images aren't quite there yet. It can see and understand images, but it's not good at generating images. We've never yet been able to use a Grok image for a thumbnail for this show, for instance.
So for people who are glazed over at this point and are drooling into their keyboards, okay, look, it boils down to workflow. What are you trying to work on? Okay, if you need research, video analysis, or like Google Workspace integration, okay, you probably want to go with Gemini 3 Pro. Okay, if you want a if you if you want a friend, if you want, something that's going to emotionally resonate with you, if you need a robot that does that, it feels like if you're brainstorming with a kind of quirky friend, then you want to go with Grok 4.1. So those are like those would be the recommendations at this point. There's a couple of things we still need to cover on the Google story. In that, where do you go to turn it off if you want to? Now, the first thing is it may not matter if you turn it off, okay? Because if you work with someone who hasn't turned it off, it's been ingested anyway.
And there's no delete data button that I found. So
Yeah.
the horses are out of the barn.
It already
This
has
is
it.
what's so infuriating about this is that like gaslighting you that you opted into this checkbox that they checked for you, and then copying all of your data and then letting you turn it off without giving you an ability to take the data away. We need some clarification from Google,
Yeah.
because them hiding behind, oh, you gave us permission. It's like, we didn't give you permission. That's not how permission works.
No, you did it in the terms of service you agreed to 3 months ago. So it's just burying it. It's all. If you want to turn this off, if you still feel like you need to fight this battle and be another statistic or something,
protonmail.com.
yeah.
Let me
If
make
you
sure I have
want
the right URL for that.
if you
Proton
wa-
Mail. It's proton.me. Sorry, keep going.
if you want to continue to use Gmail and turn off the smart features and stuff because you trust your spelling, turn off smart features in Gmail, Chat, and Meet. Then you need to go to Manage Workspace Smart Features and toggle off smart features in your Google Workspace and any other Google products that you're in to opt out entirely. Otherwise, they're still going to have the permission you gave them. You notice all the air quotes in this episode? There's a lot of air quotes.
Go to Grok and say, how do I turn off the Gemini smart or the Gmail smart features? And Grok will walk you through step by step how to do it. Don't ask Gemini.
Gemini will lie to you.